Today's video is dedicated to the real reason you're still single, your zodiac sign. Your zodiac sign affects your life, your qualities, and your romantic potential. Let's talk about what's keeping your sign from finding love. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer specializing in natal, relationship, predictive, locational, and electional astrology. Any help you need, reach out. You can book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. Talk to me about your natal chart, your love life, your future, the transits coming up. If you need help figuring out the best date for your business, your wedding, whatever it might be, I do it all, so check out my website for that. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you've been here a while and you enjoy my work, please leave me a like, a comment, subscribe, press the notification bell. Watch more of my videos. There are videos dedicated to your perfect spouse, what they might look like, where you might meet them, and other things that will be a perfect dessert for this video. So check it out. Additionally, you can show your support by buying me a tea, a coffee, a croissant, some token of appreciation. Thank you for that. On my website, you can find not only the readings I do, but also products I create. I'd love to highlight my 2026 astrology planner. This one contains 227 pages filled with insights about astrology, helping you navigate the ups and downs of life. It includes lots of space to set your intentions, write your to-do list for the day. There are breakdowns of the month ahead, every new moon and full moon, including ritual suggestions. So pick it up, check it out. On my website, you can also find a variety of candles and oils I create. I capture the most benevolent astrological transits and create and turn them into tangible objects. Today specifically, I'd love to highlight my Venus in Libra 3 or 2 candle, because this one is perfect for relationships, perfect for attracting the right person into your life, improving your chances, and improving existing relationships as well. Venus in Libra 3 smells like English garden. Venus in Libra 2 smells like jasmine. So check all of that on my website. Thank you for listening. So let's take a look at your zodiac sign. I do recommend listening for your sun, moon, rising, and Venus signs. If you know those, if all you know is your zodiac sign, as in your sun sign, just listen for that. Listen for what you know. But starting with Aries, you are more in love with the chase than the conquest. Aries is the sign ruled by Mars. There is naturally this interest in conflict and friction. And so a lot of times you seek relationships that are stimulating, relationships that keep evolving, and you may get bored really fast. So the moment you're bored, you're looking for something else, and the relationship for you might involve a lot of strife and a lot of challenge. And so that might not transpire into a more serious and stable relationship. A lot of times you may be you value your independence, your freedom too much to let somebody in. And Aries being the first zodiac sign, there might be quite a lot of idealism to you that you think is like passion and the search for truth, but at the same time, you're maybe too kind of idealistic in what you're searching. But yeah, I think a lot of times there is this kind of interest in the beginning of things, and perhaps the moment things get a little bit stale, you bounce. So try to not do that. Try to maybe create sparks in an existing relationship instead of constantly looking for the next best thing. For Taurus, if you are a Taurus, you may be too lazy to get off your couch. I'm not gonna lie, Taurus likes stability and comfort, and sometimes you may be too secure in your existing life, too perfectionist, too, closed off to change. If something requires you to get out there to try, sometimes you may be preferring to staying in, right? Like Taurus is known for having the snacks, the cozy environment around you, your TV show, and who needs to go outside? So it takes a really special person to make you break away from your comfort, to make you kind of get out there and try. And you're also very slow, right? Like you're very kind of like, you take your time to get to know someone, as in like very slow to open up, and you take your time. And so it's great to it's great to seek the right person and to be very selective, but do put yourself out there. Do get off your couch once in a while. Gemini, you have a short attention span. You're known for being like a kid in a candy store. So you talk to one person, then somebody else shows up and you get distracted. And so are you really, you know, Geminis get a lot of bad reputation about being emotionally unavailable or flaky, but are you flaky or are you just distracted, right? Let's be honest here, because maybe there's just somebody that showed up and initiated a conversation and you went off on the next quest, the next adventure. The world is like a candy store for you. There are so many options, there's so many people, there's so many interesting things to do and people to see. When you do like someone, sometimes you may have a tendency to overthink everything because you are very mercurial. So, you know, that sort of overthinking can actually create a little bit of inner anxiety and maybe a desire to, again, kind of like disengage and go off and do something fun instead of exploring things. So give some attention to people. They might surprise you by how they keep opening up and changing as you get to know them better. If you are a Cancer, you're likely to too self-protective. You're very soft inside, very romantic and loving, but around you there's so many walls built up that it's hard for people to get through, right? Like you have this tender heart, but you don't show it. You have a protective shell like the crab that represents your zodiac sign. You don't show your true feelings. You tend to sort of stick back and sit back and wait for people to come to you. You're very subtle, sometimes too subtle in your displays of affection. Not everybody gets it, right? Sometimes it's okay to be a little bit more open. And because you're so sensitive and so lunar, the moon rules Cancer, there might also be a tendency to still emotionally remember your ex from 2018, right? Somebody you are still hung up on, somebody you're still researching and looking at their page. So similarly to Taurus, on some level, you got to get out of the comfort of this kind of self-protective energy and maybe give people more hints instead of just being reserved and restricted. And yeah, like it's okay to be self-protective. It's okay to build some walls, but don't completely block everybody off. If you are a Leo, you want somebody to be obsessed with you and you won't take anything less than that. So do you want a partner or do you want a fan? Maybe both, right? So Leo is too busy being amazing and playing the main character in your life, right? Like you want love, but you want a big drama-filled, movie-worthy relationship, and anything else feels like settling. So your layers of sort of who fits your perfect image might be quite complex, right? You want a loyal partner, you want an adoring partner, you want someone who gives you all the attention and somebody who doesn't outshine you at the same time, right? Like they need to be fitting, but they also need to make sure that you also want them to fit the bill and not be too big. And of course that might vary based on your other placements, but you need to sort of watch out that you're not too focusing on finding a partner that like is perfect, right, and wants to do all the things that you do and wants to be there for every moment you shine. Just make sure that you have similarities and make sure that they fit like 90% of your requirements and maybe leave some room for improvement there. Virgo, you're on an impossible quest for perfection. Virgo is known for being stuck in the details. So focusing on the details of whether your partner has the right length of their nails, whether their teeth are in the perfect shape, whether their haircut is up to standard. And you may be overanalyzing everything that is wrong. At the same time, I feel like for you Virgos, as someone with 3 planets in Virgos, that is a way to protect yourself from being hurt, from being disappointed, right? If you're too focused on what's wrong with a person, then it's almost like you know what's coming. And so that can be difficult to both let someone in and then to keep them around, because if you're constantly nitpicking and breaking someone apart, and I know you do this to yourself, right? It all begins by being self-critical and perfectionist and by criticizing someone you're trying to help them. But you have to be open for certain level of imperfection and messiness in relationships, because that is more truthful, right? Look for the person that is imperfectly perfect for you. Libra, you have too many options. You cannot choose. Libras never really struggle with the lack of options. They tend to be very charming, flirtatious, attractive, and they draw people and partners like butterflies. And it's also a very romantic sign. So you might be quite like romantic, idealistic, and good at flirting, right? However, it's hard to pick for you. You keep weighing pros and cons. You may be struggling to decide on who's the right person for you, or who to commit to. There might be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You're also conflict avoidant, right? If something, maybe sometimes if you don't like something, you would rather disappear instead of address it and navigate difficulty and grow through a relationship. So you need to be more direct. You need to be more clear about what you want. And sometimes maybe expressing it verbally, telling people what you want, can help the wrong ones to disappear and the right ones to stay. Scorpio, you put your love interests through impossible tests. Oh my God. I have tried dating one Scorpio once, and he kept on making jokes about me being a Russian spy, to a point where I couldn't handle it. Like, I couldn't handle it, and he wouldn't share anything about himself. And like, I have a Gemini moon. I love to talk. I need to share, maybe not like all the secrets right away, but I want to have a conversation with you. So sorry, this is like a personal thing. But yes, most Scorpios have a lot of tests for people they like. They will have certain requirements, right? Like, I will see how he reacts if I push this button, if I push that button. Sometimes it's almost like KGB, FBI level interrogation and tests, right? And so it is hard for people to get through this. Sometimes it is hard for them to go through these like emotional ups and downs. You are another water sign, so Scorpio is deeply, deeply sensitive and vulnerable, but this gets covered up by a lot of makeup, a lot of boundaries, a lot of walls, and a lot of pretense of everything is fine and I am in control, right? So similarly to Cancer, maybe you need to release the grasp and control a little bit and work on trusting your intuition, because you've got powerful intuition in terms of telling you who is worth your time, who will be this soul deep connection versus who is wasting your energy. Sagittarius, you're too afraid of giving up your freedom, right? No surprises there. Sagittarius is the archer. You want to go on adventures. You want to have fun. And it's hard sometimes to let someone in. What if they want you to spend time home? What if they want you to call them, right? So you're kind of too scared of losing your independence and also being with someone who's like clingy and controlling. And so sometimes you may also misinterpret people just being curious about you and think that they're being, too controlling. And this desire for freedom and adventure is not necessarily something that should stop you from having a relationship. It might be that you can find a partner that you go on adventures with, right? So don't ghost people because you have a trip planned. Let them know, and maybe they will join you and you'll have fun together. Capricorn, no time for dating, too busy building your empire, paying off debts, or what am I talking about? Storing money aside, like, in your safe. You have legacy, you have ambition, you have priorities that you need to handle, and other people, you have no time for like BS, right? You want someone who already has a 401k, who already has savings, who already has a career, who is on their own trajectory. You're not looking for projects, right? You're looking for people who have dedicated time to building themselves. However, Capricorn is Saturn ruled, so there might be this fear of being vulnerable because people might disappoint you, right? It's easier to push feelings aside and just focus on the climbing the ladder and achieving things. So make sure that you welcome vulnerability once in a while and see it as a strength, not necessarily a weakness. If you're in Aquarius, you're looking for that magical, romantic, passionate, best friend type of feeling, which could be really hard to find, right? Because there is a complexity to your desires. You're Saturn ruled, but you're also very independent, very socially minded, very curious, very intellectual. So you're looking for someone who can fit, who can bring a deep connection, but also somebody who is like a friend. Aquarius, especially Venus, is known for prioritizing intellectual compatibility over emotional compatibility, right? Like, you don't care about what they look like as long as they have something to bring to a conversation. You get scared when somebody comes on too strong, right? Like, you maybe have a tendency to pull back, disappear, and choose your space. However, if you express your need for space to a potential love interest, they might surprise you. Instead of ghosting them and disappearing, maybe you should try to be more direct about what you want. Pisces, you tend to be too dreamy for your own benefit. You are in love with love, not always reality. With Pisces, there is this tendency to idealize soulful romance and the potential of someone. You see them, you imagine things in your head, you build so many castles and magical storylines, but then the person shows their true colors, and that could be disappointing for you, right? Or you sort of tend to avoid their true colors, avoid seeing the truth, and you give and give and give until at some point you see the truth and it's hard, and you choose to kind of step away from the real world and get into your dream world, disappear, and go take a nap instead. So Pisces can have this tendency to save people, to give too much, and to idealize, and you need to focus on being more grounded, right, and more reasonable with who you go for, and maybe having a little bit of Virgo approach, at least a little bit, having a clear list of what you want versus what you don't want, and what you will never take. Thank you for watching this video. Highly recommend my Venus candles. Venus in Libra or Venus in Taurus can be really perfect for relationships. Check out my 2026 planner to help you get ready for the year to come. And if you have any other ideas for the videos that can be dedicated to zodiac signs, love, career, anything else that's on your mind, do let me know. I enjoy creating content for you, and please subscribe if you haven't yet. Leave me a like and a comment, and I'll see you soon. Bye.